Imagine this for a moment. You meet someone who speaks English confidently. They speak clearly, they express their ideas easily, and people listen to them with respect. Now you look at yourself and think, why can't I speak like that? Why does English feel difficult for me? Maybe I am not talented. Maybe my brain is not good at languages. But here is the truth that most people never tell you. Learning a language is not only about grammar, vocabulary, or textbooks. Language learning is mostly about psychology. Yes. Your mindset, emotions, habits, and beliefs control how fast you learn English. Some people learn English in 1 year. Others struggle for 10 years. The difference is not intelligence. The difference is psychology. In this video, we will explore the psychology of language learning. You will understand why some people learn languages faster, why fear stops many learners, how confidence affects speaking ability, how your brain actually learns a language, and how you can train your mind to learn English faster. By the end of this video, you will see English learning in a completely new way. And maybe, for the first time, you will feel that English is possible for you. So let's begin. Section 1, Your brain is built to learn language. The first psychological truth is very important. Your brain is naturally designed for language learning. Think about a small child. A baby does not know grammar. A baby does not study vocabulary lists. A baby does not read textbooks. Yet within a few years, that child can speak a complete language. How is this possible? Because the human brain is made for language. Scientists say that language learning is one of the most natural abilities of the human mind. But here is the interesting part. Children learn language easily because they do not have fear. They make mistakes every day. Thousands of mistakes. But they do not feel embarrassed. They simply keep speaking. Adults, however, often stop themselves. They think, what if I make a mistake? What if people laugh at me? What if my grammar is wrong? And suddenly the brain becomes blocked by fear. So the problem is not ability. The problem is psychological pressure. If you remove fear, your brain becomes much more powerful at learning language. Section 2, The Biggest Enemy, Fear. Fear is one of the biggest psychological barriers in language learning. Many English learners know a lot of words. They understand grammar. They can read English. But when it is time to speak, something strange happens. Their mind becomes blank. Their heart beats faster. They feel nervous. Why? Because the brain thinks speaking English is a dangerous situation. This happens because of something called the fear of judgment. Humans are social creatures. We care deeply about what others think about us. When we speak a new language, we feel vulnerable. We feel exposed. We worry that people might think we are not intelligent. But here is the truth. Mistakes are not signs of weakness. Mistakes are signs of learning. Every fluent English speaker you admire once made thousands of mistakes. The difference is simple. They did not stop speaking. They accepted mistakes as part of the journey. Section 3, Confidence is a learning tool. Confidence is not just a personality trait. Confidence is actually a learning tool. When you feel confident, your brain becomes more relaxed. When the brain is relaxed, it processes information faster. You remember words better. You understand sentences more clearly. And you speak more naturally. But when you feel nervous or embarrassed, your brain enters something called stress mode. In stress mode, memory becomes weaker. Thinking becomes slower. Speaking becomes difficult. So confidence is not only emotional, it is biological. Your brain works better when you feel safe and confident. This is why supportive environments help language learners succeed. If you study in a place where people encourage you, your progress becomes faster. But if people constantly criticize you, learning becomes harder. So always remember, confidence is not a luxury. Confidence is part of the learning process. Section 4. The power of daily exposure. Another important psychological factor is exposure. Your brain learns language through repetition and patterns. Every time you hear English, your brain is quietly studying it. Even when you are not actively learning, your mind is observing patterns. How sentences are formed, how words are pronounced, how ideas are expressed. This is why people who surround themselves with English improve faster. They listen to English every day. They watch English content. They read English. They think in English. Their brain receives constant exposure. And slowly, without realizing it, their brain begins to adapt. Language learning is similar to living in a new environment. At first, everything feels strange. But with time, your brain adjusts. Section 5. Motivation versus discipline. Many learners believe motivation is the most important factor. Motivation is powerful. It can inspire you to start learning. But motivation alone is not enough. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel excited. Other days you feel tired. This is why successful learners rely on something stronger than motivation. They rely on discipline. Discipline means practicing even when you don't feel like it. Just 20 minutes of English every day can create powerful progress. Because language learning is a long-term psychological process. Small daily actions build powerful results over time. Think of learning English like building a muscle. One day at the gym will not change your body, but months of consistent training will. Language learning works exactly the same way. Section 6. Identity and language learning. One of the most powerful psychological ideas in language learning is identity. Many learners think, I am someone who cannot speak English. When you believe this idea, your brain accepts it as truth, and your actions follow that belief. But imagine changing that belief. Imagine telling yourself, I am becoming an English speaker. Now your brain begins to support that identity. You start paying more attention to English. You practice more. You take more risks. Your behavior changes, and slowly your reality changes too. Language learning is not only about skills. It is about who you believe you are becoming. Part 2. Section 7. How memory works in language learning. To understand language learning, we must understand memory. Many learners think their memory is weak. They say, I learn a word today, but tomorrow I forget it. But forgetting is actually normal. Your brain receives thousands of pieces of information every day. If it remembered everything, your mind would become overloaded. So the brain has a system. It keeps information that is used frequently, and it removes information that is rarely used. This means something very important. If you want to remember English words, you must use them repeatedly. Not once, not twice, but many times. Every time you read a word, hear it, speak it, or write it, your brain strengthens that memory. This is called memory reinforcement. Think of it like walking through grass. If you walk through the same path once, the grass returns to normal. But if you walk through that path every day, a clear road appears. Language learning works the same way. Repetition creates strong mental pathways. So do not worry if you forget words. Forgetting is part of the process. Just meet the word again and again, and eventually your brain will keep it permanently. Section 8. The power of context. Another psychological secret of language learning is context. Many learners try to memorize vocabulary lists. They write, word meaning, word meaning, word meaning. But the brain does not like isolated information. The brain prefers meaningful context. For example, imagine learning the word journey. If you only memorize the meaning, your brain may forget it quickly. But if you hear a sentence like, "My journey to learning English was not easy," now the word becomes part of a story. Stories create emotional and logical connections in the brain, and these connections make memory stronger. This is why reading stories, watching English videos, and listening to conversations are powerful learning tools. They give words life and meaning. Language is not a collection of words. Language is a living system of ideas. Section 9, Why Speaking Feels Difficult. Many learners say, "I understand English, but I cannot speak it." This situation is extremely common. The reason is psychological and neurological. Understanding language and producing language are two different skills. Listening and reading are passive skills. Your brain simply recognizes patterns. But speaking is an active skill. Your brain must do several things at the same time. Choose words. Build a sentence. Use grammar. Control pronunciation, and express ideas clearly. All of this happens in seconds. So in the beginning, speaking feels slow and uncomfortable. But this does not mean you cannot speak. It only means your brain is still building connections. Fluency is created through practice and repetition. The more you speak, the faster your brain becomes. Section 10. The psychological trap of perfection. One dangerous psychological trap in language learning is perfectionism. Many learners want to speak perfect English. They want perfect grammar, perfect pronunciation, perfect sentences, but perfectionism can actually slow down learning. Because perfectionists wait. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until their grammar improves. They wait until their vocabulary becomes large. And sometimes they wait for years. But language learning does not work like that. Fluency comes through mistakes, not before them. Imagine learning to ride a bicycle. If you wait until you can ride perfectly, you will never start. You must fall. You must lose balance. You must try again. Language learning is exactly the same. Mistakes are not failure. Mistakes are training for your brain. Section 11. Emotional connection to language. Psychology shows that emotions strongly influence learning. When something is emotional, your brain remembers it better. Think about your favorite movie scene, or a powerful speech, or a beautiful song. You remember it because it touched your emotions. The same principle applies to language learning. If English becomes emotionally meaningful to you, your progress will accelerate. For example, maybe English will help you travel. Maybe it will help you study abroad. Maybe it will improve your career. Maybe it will help you communicate with people around the world. When you connect English to your dreams and goals, the brain becomes more motivated to learn. Language becomes more than study. It becomes a tool for your future. Section 12. The role of habits. Psychology tells us that habits shape our lives. Small daily habits create powerful long-term results. Imagine two learners. The first learner studies English 3 hours once a week. The second learner studies 20 minutes every day. After 1 year, the second learner usually improves more. Why? Because the brain loves consistency. Daily exposure keeps the language active in your mind. It becomes part of your routine. Your brain stops seeing English as something strange. Instead, English becomes part of your daily environment. Section 13, the inner voice. One powerful psychological technique in language learning is developing an inner English voice. Most people think in their native language, but advanced learners begin to think in English. At first, this feels difficult, but with practice, it becomes natural. You can start with simple thoughts. I need to drink water. I will study today. That movie was interesting. This habit trains your brain to process English faster. Eventually, your brain stops translating. Instead, it begins to think directly in English. This is one of the biggest signs of real fluency. Section 14, the social nature of language. Language exists for one main reason: communication. Humans created language to share ideas, emotions, and experiences. This means language learning becomes easier when it involves interaction with people. When you talk with others, your brain becomes more active. You must respond quickly. You must understand meaning. You must express your ideas. This creates strong mental connections. Even simple conversations can dramatically improve speaking ability. Language grows through human connection. Final section. So after everything we have discussed, one truth becomes very clear. Language learning is not only about books. It is not only about grammar. It is not only about vocabulary. The real secret of learning a language is the mind. Your mindset decides whether English feels impossible or achievable. If you believe learning English is too difficult, your brain will resist the process. But if you believe that English is a skill you can build step by step, your brain will begin to cooperate with you. Remember these powerful psychological lessons. Your brain is designed to learn language. Fear is the biggest barrier. Confidence helps the brain learn faster. Mistakes are part of the journey. Daily exposure builds strong language patterns. And most importantly, consistency creates fluency. No one becomes fluent in a single day, but small progress every day creates incredible results over time. Think about where you are today. Maybe you feel your English is not strong yet. Maybe speaking still feels uncomfortable. Maybe you sometimes feel frustrated. But every fluent English speaker once stood exactly where you are standing now. They were beginners. They made mistakes. They felt nervous. But they continued. And that persistence changed everything. Language learning is not a race. It is a journey of patience, a journey of curiosity, a journey of growth. Every word you learn, every sentence you speak, every mistake you correct is a step forward. So never underestimate your progress. Even small steps move you closer to your goal. One day, you will look back and realize something amazing. The English that once felt impossible has become natural. And when that day comes, you will understand that the real victory was not only learning a language. The real victory was training your mind to believe in yourself. If you enjoyed this lesson and want to improve your English step by step, make sure you subscribe to English Elevation. On this channel, we share powerful ideas, motivation, and practical lessons to help you become more confident in English. Because learning English is not only about language, it is about elevating your confidence, your knowledge, and your future. Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep elevating yourself. I will see you in the next video.